Is paganism really becoming more popular? And why should those who are on their path of self-discovery and on a quest of finding the right ways in life pay attention to it? Let's find out in this video. Why everyone is going pagan. In short, pagan or paganism is a mark, a tag that sets apart those who didn't follow the belief in just one Christian, Jewish, or Muslim god. The term pagan came about back in the day when Roman soldiers were out and about conquering the world, and originally it meant something like civilian incompetent soldier. First, we shall take a look at the historical retrospective of paganism. Then we will see what philosophic concept stands behind paganism and discuss if paganism can be a key for self-discovery and how should we perceive it in 2024. Let's go! This is what the dictionary says about it. From Latin paganus, pagan, and classic Latin a villager, rustic, civilian, non-combat. Well, you see, pagans were strange people, if not say more, in the eyes of brave Roman soldiers. Military valor was in high regard in society back then, and the desire to cut off heads of those whose heads were thinking differently from the bright heads of the Roman Empire was much appreciated. And those who did not see themselves with weapons in hands and held more peaceful views were considered unfit in the elite military society. In the worldview of folks before the emergence of the Roman Empire, there was a place for every cult and every god. People respected their own gods equally as they respected the gods of other folks. Wandering through foreign lands, they did not crush the idols of unfamiliar gods, did not destroy their temples, did not try to prove the superiority of their cult with blood. They found kinship with their gods in every foreign god. Like Thor, the Norse god of thunder, had a lot in common with the Celtic Tyrannus and the Greek Zeus. They are the Thunderers, and the first ruler of the Scandinavian pantheon, Tyr, kinda resembles Nuadu in Celtic myth, both one-handed with sword. Romans did not understand such a statement of the question, how can someone be as beautiful and as good as me? It's impossible. Everyone cannot be unique. Someone must stand out and to be superior and manage all this gray mass. There is an obvious gap in the way of thinking between folks of the so-called rural cults and those who came later. Well, strictly speaking, this is how it was. With the advent of the Roman Empire and primacy of the Abrahamic religions, people started drifting away from their gods, their roots. The thread that tied the human being with his headquarters into a single pattern to weave the necessary reality canvas was lost. People lost the connection with their dear gods, with the forces that laid down the informational base of the human soul, their procreators. Sadly, it turned out this way. Seems like without taking this unfortunate step, the Roman Empire couldn't have tackled the task ahead. They were as turbo boosters of civilization's development and the world in general. If the Roman Empire, hand in hand with Christianity, hadn't taken charge of global processes, and people had continued their natural, organic development that was so close to the pagans, we would now be about 500 years behind the developed world we see today. So, in this respect, we can say thanks to the Roman Empire. Well, of course, we should mention your holinesses, the Christian religions. Christian priests also needed to mark somehow the defiant villagers and their bad and wrong gods. And so, without much thought, soldiers of Christ borrowed the military jargon from the Romans and put a tag on the polytheistic folk. And so began the period of persecution and extermination of those who worshipped other gods. The concept of pagan became a dividing line, a border, a division into faithful and unfaithful. Pagan temples and idols were destroyed. The old gods were dressed in the clothes of wickedness, filth, and demonic nature. Roman emperors established laws imposing fines and punishments for worshipping other gods, making sacrifices, fortune-telling, and so on. Interestingly enough, in some modern countries, where the laws apparently haven't been revised since the time of the Roman Empire, there are still provisions for punishment for practicing witchcraft, sorcery, fortune-telling, and divination. I wonder, has anyone been convicted in the past century for tarot card readings or using magical runes? That would have been amusing. It's a story of suppression, a tale of lost faith and a struggle for survival. Pagans found themselves suffocated, their voices silenced as they were deemed unfit for the secular realm, stripped of their place within their own communities, and robbed of their belief in the divine. No wonder that, under the threat of death, people from the BC era found themselves forsaking their beliefs, abandoning the gods, all in a bid to cling to life. Amidst this turmoil, pagans were forced into hiding, seeking refuge in the shadows, or donning the symbols of the dominant faith while wielding swords to propagate the one true faith. These events forged a stark divide between humanity and the divine, shattering the sacred bond that once connected them. By betraying themselves, their faith, their divine force, and bending to someone else's rules, pagans lost their connection with the deities. These turbulent times have left an indelible mark on the relationship between mortals and gods, with betrayal becoming a recurring motif. The algorithm "man is a traitor" was set in the information field. The gods don't want to deal with traitors. Why invest your power in someone who'll switch sides at the first inconvenience? This is one of the reasons why most people today have lost themselves and can't find their way back, while others remain oblivious to the weight of these profound questions. As the influence of dominant religions wanes, nearly approaching zero influence, people are beginning to question the narratives that have shaped their lives, realizing that they've been led astray by false values and misplaced priorities. Yet, even as they yearn for guidance and solace, the ancient rustic gods remain elusive, demanding proof of humanity's worthiness before extending their hand in aid. This was a quick historical retrospective. I hope you have a clearer understanding now on how the phenomenon of paganism emerged, and it's time to move to another topic, philosophy of paganism. In today's world, paganism is becoming increasingly popular indeed, with more and more people embarking on a quest to self-discovery and a deeper understanding of their place in life. The term pagan carries historical weight, originating from an era where nonconformity to mainstream religious ideologies earned individuals the label of outsiders or outcasts. Even today, remnants of societal disdain and misunderstanding linger, casting a shadow over the true essence of paganism. If one were to identify themselves as a pagan in conversation, the listener would immediately envision a person dressed in linen robes and dresses, with braids and beard, worshipping a dewdrop somewhere in the forest by a bonfire. Well, broadly speaking, that's the idea. Yes, a pagan without a connection to nature is no longer a pagan. Moreover, it's also a modern individual who has lost the connection with the essence, with nature and gods. You see, in paganism, or the belief of the villagers, lies a profound understanding of humanity's place within the natural order where everything has its place and time. Paganism, often dismissed as archaic superstition, unveils a rich tapestry of wisdom that resonates even in our modern era. Imagine a time when gods were not distant figures in the heavens, but omnipresent forces woven into the very fabric of existence. This is the essence of paganism, a belief system rooted in the interconnectedness of all things. Gods reveal themselves in the thunderous skies, in the forest streams, in the birch grove, just as much as they do in people. Everything within me exists outside of me too. They understood that magic permeates this world just as much as Homo sapiens do. Magic, as we call it now, can be communicated with, connected to, asked for advice and guidance. It manifested in every aspect of pagan life, from thought patterns to lifestyle choices and relationships with the surrounding world. Delving into the heart of paganism reveals a worldview where nature is not merely a backdrop, the very essence of life itself. Each tree, each stream, each creature is imbued with significance, reflecting the divine in its earthly form. In nature, everything is in its place. Humans came to understand that one of life's profound truths is that attempting to be what one is not inevitably leads to sorrow. This realization is echoed in the natural world, where each element carries a specific role. A hare remains true to its nature, never aspiring to become a wolf. It's a philosophy that resonates deeply with the existential yearning of a generation grappling with identity and purpose. Nature holds all the answers about who you are, what you are, and why you are here. But nature, in the pagan's perspective, is not just a place to go for relaxation or to admire its beauty. Nature is the essence of all things. No matter how many times you throw a stone into the air, it won't learn to fly, as Aristotle said, and he was absolutely right. Pagans knew their nature, and if they needed guidance or blessing, they sought it from nature, from the surrounding environment with which they existed inseparably. Just as there was no separation between oneself and nature, and by nature I mean one's essence, there was also no division between body, spirit, and soul. Nature created you, endowed you with certain physical, energetic, and emotional characteristics. You are as you should be, and the endeavors assigned to you in this lifetime are precisely tailored to facilitate the unfurling of your innate. Mother Earth makes one a king, another destined to be a hero, third was destined to defend his tribe, and others had to care for posterity. Everyone has their own path. In an age of disconnection and disillusionment, this ancient belief system beckons us to rediscover our place in the personal cosmic reality. But what does it mean to be a pagan in the modern world? And if it can give us keys to rediscover ourselves, it's more than just donning ceremonial robes or offering tributes to ancient deities. A pagan is, first and foremost, someone who has come to know its nature, established a connection with its power, and has no false principles. By false, I mean artificially imposed rules of behavior, norms of morality, notions of good and evil that are unnatural to an individual. In a recent exploration of Beltane, a pagan celebration symbolizing the awakening of Earth's elemental forces, a fundamental principle emerged: do only what you want. Yet this seemingly simple mantra holds profound significance, echoing the essence of pagan philosophy. It was said for a reason: nature doesn't tolerate violence, neither upon itself nor within itself. Everything happens naturally and in accordance with natural rules. As inhabitants of the earth and elements of the overall ecosystem, humans are also capable of living in harmony with their inner nature and not abusing it. As an example of a hare and a wolf, doing only what you want doesn't mean becoming a lazy bum and constantly binge watching Netflix. Well, you can also try it that way. Let's call it an adaptation period or an existential crisis. In essence, this mantra is a return to authenticity, a reclamation of one's innate power and agency. Following your desires means listening to and hearing your inner voice, which simply screams about it. Through these genuine yearnings, a profound self-awareness unfolds, forging a connection with one's true essence, embodiment of nature's design. Knowledge of oneself always comes first, and then everything else follows, the cornerstone upon which all subsequent understanding is built. Once you confront your personal demons, everything else falls into place. Person's greater problems stem from a lack of self-knowledge or self-misunderstanding. In childhood, instead of fostering an environment of self-discovery, we're handed preconceived notions of rightness, unaware of the potential harm it may inflict upon individual flourishing. When all the artificial and pretentious is stripped away from consciousness, the journey to understanding one's nature, one's essence, begins. It is a long and challenging process, but it can start at any time, regardless of where you are in your reality map. That's the meaning of the message, do what you want. Listen to your nature, trust it, and begin to know yourself. Now we've come to the last part of the video. After talking about historical roots and philosophy of paganism, let's find out how paganism reveals itself in our time. The resurgence of pagan practices reflects a broader societal shift towards individualism and spiritual exploration. In an age marked by technological advancement and rapid globalization, many seek solace in reconnecting with nature, delving into ancient wisdom, and forging a deeper understanding of self. In essence, everyone who is engaged in personal development, exploration of consciousness and subconsciousness, seeking answers to solve life's problems, doing meditation, or other magical practices is already a modern pagan. These are all different forms of self-discovery and connection with one's own power. I don't know about you, but it sounds very pagan to me. Today, the term encompasses far more than its historical roots, embracing a diverse spectrum of beliefs and practices that defy easy categorization. This contemporary iteration of paganism transcends the boundaries of its historical counterpart. It encompasses a diverse array of spiritual practices, from meditation and mindfulness to ritual magic and shamanic journeys. What unites these disparate paths is a shared commitment to self-discovery, empowerment, and reverence for the natural world. So, as we journey forward into uncharted territory, let us embrace the spirit of curiosity and adventure that defines modern paganism. Let us cast aside outdated antitheses and archaic perceptions and boldly march towards new and exciting horizons. Good luck, everyone, on this journey, and of course, a little bit of magic will do no harm.